Hey guys, it's Brooke with Super Tutor TV, and today we have a very special video for you. Donald Trump's grammar versus the SAT grammar. The SAT abides by a plethora of grammar rules that I think even the most upstanding of world leaders would have trouble keeping up with. So it comes as no surprise that Donald Trump's grammar doesn't quite follow all the SAT grammar rules either. So today what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through 3 tweets from the Donald. I'm going to show you the grammar errors that he makes, and then I'm gonna help you all know how to avoid those errors when you take the SAT. So the first tweet that I'm gonna look at from Donald Trump was on March 26, 2016. Wisconsin's economy is doing poorly, and like everywhere else in US, jobs are leaving. I will make our economy strong again. Bring in jobs. So I'm not even picking on here, by the way, the fact that he doesn't have a period and these kind of things. I mean, come on, it's a tweet. But what I am gonna pick on is the fact that he has here what's called an incomplete comparison. So let's first cover what are incomplete comparisons. The number one rule of comparisons is compare like things. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that say we have someone like Donald Trump. He's a person, so we would want to compare him to another person, like Hillary Clinton. We can say, like Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton is blonde. So you see Donald Trump, that's the name of a person. Hillary Clinton, that's the name of a person. What's going on in this sentence is that we're comparing the two. Now, what we don't want to do is compare unlike things. So here we have Donald Trump's hair. Donald Trump's hair is not a person, right? Hillary Clinton is a person. We can't compare these two things. So let's take a look. So we can't say like Donald Trump's hair, Hillary Clinton is blonde. Now we could say Hillary Clinton is blonde. We could say Donald Trump's hair is blonde, but this sentence does not work because the two things being compared are not in parallel form. The other thing we could do is we could say Donald Trump's hair like Hillary Clinton's is blonde. So we could actually cut off the word hair. So you see how this is possessive with hair. We could actually just say the possessive here. We can repeat the hair if we want, but you can omit the hair if you want as well. As long as this is possessive, then these become like items. So we see this Wisconsin's economy. This is the subject of the sentence, right? And then we have, and like everywhere else in US. So here's what's happening. When I have this word like, I have to compare two things. That means I need to have two things that are in the same form. Everywhere else in US is a place. Wisconsin's economy is not a place because Wisconsin's is acting as a possessive form. And the noun here at work is just the word economy. It's not Wisconsin. So that's a little bit of a problem. The second thing that's problematic about this is when I see like everywhere else in the US, I expect the thing I'm comparing to come after the comma here. So I would expect like Wisconsin would be right here, but instead we have the word jobs. And we're definitely not comparing jobs to everywhere else in the US, and we're definitely not comparing an economy to everywhere else in the US. So I'm gonna correct this sentence. I'm gonna give us a few options of ways that Donald could have said this in a more eloquent or grammatically correct manner. We could say Wisconsin like everywhere else in the US. So you see how I'm comparing the place to the place is suffering economically, jobs are leaving. So here's my evidence that it's suffering economically. I've correctly subordinated all this information and it's logical, right? And if I really wanted to be good, I could go over here and say the economy of Wisconsin. So the economy of Wisconsin is doing poorly, and like everywhere else in the US, the state is losing jobs. So again, when I have this and then I have this comma, the thing that these guys, this everywhere else is being compared to, has to be right here. The state, that's a place. I can compare a place, right, over here to a place over here, everywhere else. That makes sense. So that's rule number one. You can't have what we call incomplete comparisons on the SAT, and that's exactly what Donald was doing in this tweet. So the second mistake that I've seen Donald Trump make in his tweets is something called a subject-verb agreement error. So let's just do a quick overview of what subject-verb agreement is for those of you who may not remember what that means. Subject-verb agreement is essentially the idea that subjects and verbs must agree. What do I mean by agree? Well, in a sentence like this, we are here, we and are work together, right? I can't say we is here. That doesn't work. The we and the is don't go together. And most of you know that. Most of you will say, hey, that's super easy. How could anyone screw something like that up? Well, there's a certain condition in which people sometimes get confused, and that is when we have intervening phrases. So if you look at this sentence is actually wrong. We, the people of the United States of America, is here. You can see this is not a part of our what we call our bare bones sentence, right? We is the same as the people. These are both plural.
of the United States of America, this is a prepositional phrase. It starts with of, right? That's a preposition. So intervening phrases we want to ignore. We also want to ignore what's called intervening clauses. Clauses have subjects and verbs, but they can get in the middle of a subject and a verb that are separated like these two are here. So the point is we is here is actually the sentence that's going on here, but some people get confused. And the reason they get confused is they'll look at a word like America. If, for example, you just looked at this part of the sentence on, America is here, that would sound fine. And that's why people get into trouble with this subject-verb agreement issue, if you can kind of understand, okay? So I'm just gonna fix it. We, the people of the United States of America, are here. So again, we are here is a bare bones sentence. All this stuff is intervening. America is not the subject, even though it's next to the verb. Ta-da. So let's take a look at what Donald did.
My statement, that's singular, on NATO being obsolete and disproportionately too expensive and unfair for the US are now finally receiving plaudits. So let's talk about this. Our subject is this, my statement right here. This is a prepositional phrase, on NATO, and then being is a participial phrase that modifies on NATO, okay? Being obsolete and disproportionately too expensive and unfair for the US. So all of these are just modifiers, okay? They are not a part of the subject. The subject is statement, and statement alone, that's singular. My statement are now, that is not good grammar. What's so ironic here is for the first time in a long time, I've seen the Donald use a fairly intelligent sounding word here, plaudits. Plaudits, by the way, means praise. So he's using this really nice big Ivy League level word, and then he has a total subject-verb agreement error earlier in the sentence. All we have to do here to fix this is just switch the are to an is. It's not that hard. And again, it's just my statement is now finally receiving plaudits. That would be perfectly fine. We could also say my statements are, and that would be perfectly fine. But the bottom line is, because there's an and here and an and here, that does not make the subject plural. Intervening phrases are not what determine the number of a subject. And when I say number, I mean whether it's singular or whether it's plural. This one is actually a little bit more challenging. We'll see if you can see the error. Just to show you how unfair Republican primary politics can be, I won the state of Louisiana and get less delegates than Cruz. Lawsuit coming.
Huh?
Okay, again, I'm not gonna pick on this lawsuit coming, even though it sounds kind of funny and it's a total fragment. I'm just gonna go over here to this word less.
We use less to modify what we call non-count words. Non-count words are sometimes mass nouns. That can be something like less election mail, right? Election mail, we can have a lot of mail, we can have a little mail. It's not like we're counting the individual pieces of mail when we say the word mail. Mail is a word that can grow or can shrink. So we call this a non-count or a mass noun. We could also say less pollution. His plan would give us less pollution. So you could see pollution, something that can be in a large amount or a small amount, but there's no S on the end. It's not plural. We can also use less as an adverb that modifies adjectives. So here we could say less orange, right? His skin is less orange in this picture than in this picture. And that's perfectly fine, right? Orange is an adjective. We say like orange Donald Trump. I could use it like that. And less is just modifying the orange. Again, orange doesn't have an S on the end. It's not plural. Whatever we use less with should not have an S on the end. Less cannot be used to modify plural nouns. This is the big no-no. So we don't want to say less protesters. We don't want to say less people. I know people doesn't have an S on the end, but it's still plural. And then we want to use fewer when we do have plural nouns. So the correct way to say it is fewer protesters or fewer people. And my biggest tip here is the mistake is typically using less incorrectly. The fact is people overuse less. They'll say less mistakes instead of fewer mistakes, right? So my big tip is if you're not sure what the answer is and you think both less and fewer work, few or fewer is probably right. Okay, let's get back to the tweet. I won the state of Louisiana and get fewer delegates than Cruz. Lawsuit coming. That would be the proper way to do this. We just want to make sure that we use the right words at the right time. Sometimes that's called idiomatic usage. Sometimes it's called diction. Just depends on what kind of resource you're studying from. So to wrap this all up, the 3 grammar mistakes that I pointed out today of the Donald are number 1, incomplete comparisons. That's when we're comparing things that aren't alike. Number 2, subject-verb agreement, and that comes down to whether your subject-verb go together. right? And number 3, non-idiomatic diction. And that's just the idea that you have to use the right word at the right time, particularly when it comes to count and non-count words. So that's it for today. I hope you guys liked this video. If so, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you can keep plugged in. And if you're looking for more tips on the SAT, we have many other videos that can help you out. We have how to score perfectly on the SAT, how to cram for the SAT, what to pack for the SAT. So check out some of our other videos, and there's lots more to come. So make sure you stay plugged in. We've got lots of social media where you can engage with us, and I'll see you guys all next time on Super Tutor TV. Thanks so much.